Okay. Hi there. We're the Greenwich Together Youth Coalition. My name is Bettina Gunnarsson, and I go to Greenwich High School, and I'm one of the co-chairs.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Taylor. I go to Sacred Heart Greenwich, and I'm also one of the co-chairs.
Hi, I'm Penelope. I go to Ride Country Day, and I am also one of the co-chairs. And we're excited to get started today. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, so the Garden Together Youth Coalition strives to provide a youth voice and perspective in the community to help prevent substance misuse and promote mental health awareness. Whether engaging in community service, creating social media content, leading environmental scans, or partaking in various other leadership opportunities, we enjoy engaging in open dialogue with adult members of the coalition. Together, we learn more about ways we can better our community and serve our youth. Through our efforts, we've observed positive growth in our community over the years and hope to continue driving change.
So, as part of the Youth Coalition, we partner with a lot of different organizations, both local and national, and the Yellow Tulip Project is one of those organizations. So, you can see pictured here Julia Hansen and her mother. At 15, Julia Hansen and her mom founded the Yellow Tulip Project, and she had the mission of smashing the stigma around mental illness. Julia lost two of her best friends to suicide. One loved tulips, and the other's favorite color was yellow. So, the Yellow Tulip Project was born. And so, next slide, you can see as part of this like kind of partnership we do with the Yellow Tulip Project, we had a planting day. This we have some food from Odalise pictured here, handouts, and even this year, despite the fact that it was kind of a rainy, gloomy day, we had over 40 volunteers plus our amazing Greenwich Parks and Rec crew come out to plant. And on the next slide, you can see our beautiful faces planting in the rain. We have Stephen Meskers pictured as well, our state representative, GEMS, FSYC was featured. So just a lot of great volunteer organizations. And on the next slide here, you can see some of our hope gardens blooming. They're beautiful. We planted 1,000 tulip bulbs across 10 locations in town. And this was some new locations and some old locations that we planted last year. And then, next slide, come April, our Hope Day at the the Arch Street Teen Center. We celebrated the blooming of our tulips and continue to raise awareness for the cause. We had so many amazing organizations there. Music was from a high school band, Red House. There was the Greenwich Hospital, GEMS, Outreach Club. We had different activities. And it was just truly an amazing day and really wonderful to see everyone come together and celebrate the message of smashing the stigma of mental illness.
So during our coalition meetings, we often work on our social media content and provide suggestions as to how we think we can best engage the youth and other members in our community. And it's a really great way for also for us to engage with each other and get to know each other better in a way. Also, please follow us on social media and check out our new youth webpage as well. It's linked right here on the slide. So another event that we do together as a coalition is the community presentation panel. At the community presentation panel, my co-chair Lindsay and I shared a youth lens with adults in our community and heard their perspectives. As we asked and answered questions, we learned more about our community's needs and listened to valuable insight. Discussing ways to build positive communities and forge healthy parent-child relationships open to conversation, we brainstormed ways in which we could create outlets for the youth through which they could better express themselves without resorting to drugs or alcohol for escape.
So this was another one of our events. We had a movie showing at the Bruce Museum on November 5th. And so we also had a panel after the movie showing. And on the panel from left to right is myself, Lauren Winston from Greenwich Academy, Maxwell Fetterman, and Dr. Maggie Young from Liberation Programs. And I personally found the movie really informative. There was a lot of up-to-date statistics. It showed kind of the science and what was happening in the brain, as well as the more like social emotional effects of different types of addictions, such as alcohol, gaming, vaping, and even like social media. So it was a really great event. Very thankful for the Bruce for having us there, and a lot of great representative, yeah, a lot of great information represented there.
And to follow up, we also had a movie night specifically for our coalition, where we also rewatched or watched for the first time the same Screenagers Under the Influence movie. And what was so great about this opportunity was twofold. One, opportunities like this give us the chance to really bond as a coalition. One of the greatest benefits, I think, of the Youth Coalition is that it provides a space for us to really discuss issues related to substance use and mental health among our peers that are so pressing, but also so complex and rooted in so many facets of society. I found it really insightful to discuss like the marketing of vaping products or even like the psychology of teens and addiction with my peers in the coalition. And from this movie night, we actually had a secondary panel that was virtual that I was a part of, based on the Screenagers movie, discussing with psychologists and more representatives from the Liberation Front about ways parents can use the information featured in the movie in a really beneficial way to help support their youth and support their communities as well. And then, so another event or kind of more legislative presentation that we had was related to THC and CBD infused seltzers that have been appearing in local shops, both smoke and liquor stores. So as part of our environmental scans, which we'll discuss in more detail later on, I began noticing more and more products that were alcohol products or pseudo alcohol products, non-alcoholic beverages that actually were laced with THC and CBD. And the fascinating thing about this is the servings of both THC and CBD were 5 times what was recommended because the servings were limited to 1/5 of a can. So instead of having the legal dosage be for the entire can, they were permitted because of serving regulations to have 5 times that, but reduce the serving size by 1/5. But naturally, no one really drinks 1/5 of a can of alcohol or in this case, CBD pseudo alcohols. And it really just shows how misleading the advertising is. So some of the concerns with this project, with these products, is that there's no conclusive research on their effects. Because this is kind of a growing market, it's projected to grow by about 500% in the next few years. It's still in its infancy, so a lot of research that has been done has had mixed conclusions, negative and positive, and they've been conducted on small sample sizes. So there's really no way to truly at this point, without further research, have any kind of conclusive safety or precautions on these cans because we simply don't know enough to understand their risks. And we also know that one thing we do know conclusively, however, though, is that when mixed with alcohol products, CBD, it can be very lethal and very intoxicating. So naturally, if you had one of these CBD alcohol, like pseudo alcohol, non-alcoholic products, and you drank a beer right after it, that could increase the rate of heart failure, of intoxication and other unfortunate side effects of both marijuana and alcohol use. And another kind of component to this is the advertisement. So these CBD products are often advertised as fun and healthy and clean, kind of targeting a youthful audience, which is really negative. So one thing that we discussed in the coalition was increasing kind of labeling on these products and increasing awareness. And we're happy to note that some motions in legislature are being made to try and implement these new regulations.
So another thing that we did as a coalition was the community service project. So during this day, we put together bags full of essentials and cards to give to people getting out of treatment in liberation programs. So on the side, you can also see some of the positive feedback we received from the recipients. And it was really a great experience to connect with other people in our community and also, get some feedback, qualitative feedback, not just quantitative, and see the impact that we've had. And yeah.
So as a part of our community events, we also do stuff at the high school, and this was Takedown Tobacco Day at Greenwich High School. So it's on April 1st because tobacco is no joke. We had a table with information, handouts, and we were working with the outreach club to kind of promote awareness in the schools. And it was really great to see people come up as they went to go get their lunch and kind of learn some more about the dangers of tobacco. And it really is a great event for improving awareness.
So now I will talk about something I touched on a bit earlier, which is environmental scans. So what is an environmental scan? We are not a sustainability organization. We are a substance abuse prevention organization. So when we say environmental scan, what we're really referring to is assessing the risk and protective factors within locations that might promote or inhibit drug and substance use. So what that means is we go into stores ranging from liquor stores to smoke shops to convenience stores where teens might be able to have access to alcohol and other substances and see if these locations are really promoting teen substance use or preventing it. So what we analyze is so we go to local liquor stores, smoke shops, convenience stores, and we foremost provide them with up-to-date resources that they need, such as ID checking guides, which is featured on the slide, as well as other kind of supportive measures, such as you can see here, we have these labels that you can put on wine bottles so parents can tell if their drinks have been tampered with. So the purpose is we really kind of create this pattern of reminding retailers about the importance of prevention and like adequate checking and scanning to make sure that our teens are not getting access to prohibited products. So through these scans, we look at four kind of main criteria to assess the extent to which these stores are either promoting teen substance use or preventing it. And those are product, promotion, price, and placement. And so we will discuss each of those four factors in detail a little bit more. But moving on to the next slide, you may be wondering, how do we decide which stores we visit in our scan? Because, we have a limited amount of time, although our coalition is 19 members strong and we're looking to grow that. We're still students first, and we don't have the time to check every store that might be selling these products. So Greenwich Police what they do is they do alcohol compliance checks frequently at these stores, and they at liquor stores and smoke shops to make sure that they are not selling to teens. So what they'll do is they'll have a teen volunteer come in and try to purchase different products. And if they sell them to the teen, then they fail. But if they don't, they pass. So basically, through these frequent scans, we get a pattern of which stores are, are most inconsistent with their regulations in teen selling. And so from there, we assess what are the stores that really need our help the most? What are the stores that their system is failing in one way or another? So, for example, from there, we decide, like, as you can see, Bruce Park Liquor, Eastport Wine and Liquor, they failed a couple times, but then later they passed. So our goal is to kind of create a pattern of reminding people until they kind of create a system that works.
So this past year, we embarked on a couple of these environmental scans, us visiting different stores each time to extend our reach. As a coalition, we observed the products at a total of 11 different stores in our community. It was really meaningful to us to witness the firsthand growth our communities achieved, just as we saw through the compliance checks progress, actually going into these stores and learning more about how products are being sold was really valuable to us and provided us with more knowledge on how we can help support them whilst keeping teens in our community safe.
So as Lindsay was mentioning earlier, one of the factors we look for on these environmental scans is product. And we definitely noticed through these environmental scans the like THC, hemp, and CBD infused products. Of course, like hemp and marijuana are the same species and they differ in how much THC they have. But as we know, and as Lindsay went and researched and did at the legislative forum about, having these substances mixed and not really telling people clearly what the amount of THC that they are consuming is causes greater side effects, and it could be really problematic, especially because we kind of noticed that they had these gummies, these flavored products such as this gelato THC over here, and it's really geared towards younger audiences. And so, specifically, the coalition is looking for a flavor ban of nicotine products, as many teenagers start like with vaping with flavored products. And so that's one thing to keep in mind. That's one thing we really noticed a lot with product. And we also noticed as well Delta 10 products being sold. And like the alcohol content was extremely high, such as like 11%. And so what we do with these scans is we really take a look, what are these stores selling? What is the information that people aren't necessarily reading? And what advertising agencies are trying to hide?
So moving on to price. Price is a huge component of selling these products to teens, because fundamentally, if a product is too expensive, a teen is not going to be able to buy it. So price really, it's fundamental, it's huge, its fundamental impact on accessibility is based on how great of an audience of teens can reach it. So as you can see in the slides, we noticed in a couple of the stores a lot of sales for like $9.99 wines, or or sales for 6 packs of beer or larger packs of beer. And a lot of the time, these products are not really as of high quality. So in a store that features a couple $100 bottles of wines, a $10 bottle of wine is really going to stick out. And so you can tell that it's catered to a different audience. And the reason why for us it's a signal of attracting teens is that when you have cheaper alcohols, this price applies to marijuana and other substance products as well, but alcohol is kind of by weight the cheapest substance. You can tell when products decrease in value, they increase in kind of accessibility to teens. So because they're of less high quality, teens might feel like they can access them more readily, and they can use them not really to enjoy them or out of like respect for the product, but more so to kind of get drunk and use for the sensation rather than consuming it in a safe way. So typically a low price indicates a lower quality of product, which is more attractive to towards youth.
So in addition to product and price, we also took into account the location of these stores that are selling these products. Much like price and flavor, another influential factor on the store's appeal to younger audiences is physical accessibility. As we went from store to store, we took notice of substance selling stores that were located near schools and maybe more attractive to the youth in our community. So while the products may be placed in some stores in up front or by the entrance, other stores were better keeping their products behind glass or behind a counter, creating a safer environment. We also tried to take note of the distance from parks, and like we said earlier, schools, in order to consider how accessible these products may be. And it was really helpful in collecting our data. So we also saw that one store had a lollipop box, and we're not really sure why this would be something attractive for adults. So that was another thing that we took into account, and whether these stores were actually trying to market their products for the youth or for people who are of age. So, for instance, some stores such as the Belmore Wine and Liquor had large promotional signs outside of the store, and those were definitely things that we considered and we spoke about with whoever was working the front desk. Oftentimes we get a response like, "Oh, that wasn't our decision. I just work here. My boss isn't here right now." But we hope that we can help promote regulations around signage and the products being sold in places like this. We also noticed like some posters that attract teens with bright colors and fruity flavors, like that. The first image you can see for the State Line Smoke Shop uses all these purples and pinks. Sometimes also the placement of the signs were near snacks or things for youth, such as the poster above for popsicles, which we found rather concerning. Some stores also had clear signage around age restrictions, but others did not. Sometimes the signs were very, very small or conveniently placed somewhere that customers probably would not look, or surrounded by a bunch of other signs. So it kind of got lost in there. And as a result, the messaging got lost as well.
Yeah, so as part of that, one of our future plans is to increase accessibility to signage. So we've already distributed these posters that you see on the screen to over 25 retailers in the broader Greenwich area. So we also want to distribute more materials regarding ID checking as well. So one pattern that we have noticed is a lot of stores are beginning to use more electronic ID checking guides, but ID checking systems rather. But a lot of these aren't FDA approved, so therefore they could be prone to error. So we want to so another future plan is spreading spreading information about that to make sure that really that people, even with the best of intentions, are well prepared for, potential fake IDs or kind of any kind of difficulties they might encounter with ID checking. And then more broadly, we're looking to kind of continue expanding our reach into more schools in Greenwich and kind of recruiting more teen members, so we can kind of get really energize the community around such an important issue.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.